Hey guys, so I wanted to sit down and create this video and just chat about what's been going on in the last month because I've had kind of a crazy month. No matter how hard you try to slow down and live mindfully, sometimes things happen that you just have no control over. So I just wanted to talk about my experience, what was going on, and also what I learned from it. So, to give you a little background, we found out at the beginning of March that the person we were renting our apartment from had been subletting it without permission from their landlord, from the management company that ran the building. And so, apparently, they were not at all allowed to sublet this apartment. And we were told at the beginning of the month that we had 2 weeks to find a new apartment, pack everything up, and move out. So, it was a really kind of crazy situation to be put into. Like, moving is already kind of stressful and finding a new apartment and all of that. And to have only 2 weeks to do that in was a lot to deal with, especially because it just happened to be at a really bad time where my husband was away for the first week of the month. So I was on my own apartment hunting and trying to figure things out. And the rental market where we currently live is extremely competitive. I know people that have spent months looking for an apartment. So 2 weeks is a really short time to find a place. There's also legal stuff to deal with, and my German is not very good still. So dealing with that in a foreign language is also a lot. So basically, my life went from having a pretty normal routine and things to do to focusing all of my time and attention pretty much on finding a new apartment and dealing with this really quick move. Now, when something really big like that gets put on your plate, you just have to take other things off your plate. And unfortunately, there's certain things like work or school. I actually currently am back in school part-time. I'm doing an intensive German course where I study German for 4 hours every day, Monday to Friday. So that wasn't something that I could just drop all of a sudden. So I had to let go of things that I did in my free time, things like YouTube. And it's really sad because although YouTube takes up a bunch of my time, it's something I really enjoy doing, but I unfortunately just didn't really have time for that. Those kinds of free time hobbies and activities, unfortunately, had to be let go of. And it was really interesting because at first I basically dropped absolutely everything that wasn't completely necessary. But that wasn't good. And I learned that even if something is super pressing, it's still really important to sometimes just let yourself be completely distracted by something. I really believe in monotasking. I've actually created a video about it. That's just basically where you devote all of your time and attention to the task at hand. But I learned that you can't do that for the entire time. Like, I was spending every single moment of time that I had dealing with this whole apartment situation and search and move. And I quickly learned that that was just not good for me. It was so stressful and overwhelming, and I was getting burnt out and just felt terrible. I realized that I had to schedule in time and things where I just completely distracted myself from what was going on and did something that I just enjoyed or that just took my mind off of it. Because originally I kind of saw that as a huge waste of time. Like, why, I have this very short time frame, so I can't be spending time just like watching a movie or, spending some time hanging out with friends because like this is a really pressing thing that needs to be dealt with. I really realized how important it is to take some time, even if it's just a small amount of time, for yourself to do something that you just really enjoy, that makes you feel good, and that kind of recharges your batteries. Now, I know some people have different feelings about this, but I personally found it really helpful to just remind myself that my problems aren't that big. There's other people in the world that are dealing with things far worse than what I have to deal with. I don't know, I think putting sort of your problems in perspective is really helpful to me, and it also allows you to be grateful. And that's something that I really learned throughout this process, is how important it is to be grateful for the things you have. And also, when this situation came up, there was other things that happened that just made me feel really good about it. For example, when friends of ours and people that we didn't even know all that well found out that we had this really quick move and we didn't really have anywhere to stay. People were offering us places to stay. Almost everyone we knew offered us help moving or help with whatever we needed. And that was really amazing to me. Like, we haven't been living here all that long. It's been just over a year. And to have so many people just show so much kindness and wanting to help and wanting to make things easier felt really nice. And it made me feel really grateful for just the people that we've met and the friends that we have here. And along with that too, I found in stressful situations, it can sometimes be good to think about what the worst case scenario is, because oftentimes it isn't actually that bad. And in our situation, for example, the worst case scenario was that we would either have to stay in a hotel, which would cost a lot of money, but we had so many friends and people offer us places to stay that the worst case situation was that we would have to stay with a friend for some time until we found a new place. And while I felt really bad sort of imposing ourselves on someone else and having to store all of our stuff at their place, it's not that bad. It would not be ideal, but there's so many worse situations. It was nice to kind of remind myself of that. So no matter how stressful it was getting and no matter how worried I was getting about finding a place, the worst case situation really wasn't that bad for us. I also found it really helpful to remind myself that it was going to be over soon. So no matter how crazy it was getting, I knew that we would be out of the place, we would hopefully be in a new apartment, and it was going to be over at some point. Because I found when you're just really in that stressful situation, it can sometimes feel just so overwhelming and like it's never going to end. And being able to remind myself that it will end and I will be able to go back to, I guess, my normal life, I found really helpful. And something that I still need to work on is I think it's important to let others help you and to ask for help if you need it. I always feel like I should be able to do things on my own and, I don't want to inconvenience other people, but it can be such a relief and take out so much stress to just accept other people's offers of help and to ask for help if you need it. Especially the people that care about you are going to want to help and lend a hand if they can. And it just makes things so much easier to accept that help instead of trying to do it on your own. So what ended up happening is we were able to find an apartment, the apartment that I'm currently in, for April 1st, and we got just a short-term temporary accommodation for the other half of the month leading up to April 1st. So it ended up all working out. It was a really stressful time and the move was definitely stressful. And obviously I would not want to be in that situation again, but I'm actually so happy with how it ended up working out. We have an apartment that we really like. It wasn't our ideal apartment because when we moved to Germany, we decided that we wanted to only rent furnished apartments so that we wouldn't have to buy furniture. And in Germany, it's different than Canada. The apartments actually come with nothing. So they come with no kitchen, no appliances. They don't come with light fixtures or anything like that. So you need to purchase all of that. So that was something we really didn't want to do. So in this move, we tried to find a furnished place, but it's quite difficult. We were able to at least find a place where the previous tenant sold us their kitchen and their washing machine, which was great so that we didn't have to worry about that. But we did have to furnish a place. And for me, I really like to spend time to buy things sustainably and ethically sourced. So having such a short time frame was a lot of pressure. So unfortunately, there were a few things that we had to buy new, which I would prefer not to buy new. But most of the stuff we are getting secondhand and picking up from flea markets or finding it online from other people that are selling furniture. So that's really good, but it definitely wasn't the ideal situation that I wanted to be in, but it ended up working out still. And I really love the apartment I'm in. When it's kind of set up a bit more, I'll try to do an apartment tour for you guys. This experience has also made me incredibly happy to be a minimalist. Not having very many things, especially not owning furniture, which we now do own, but it made packing so much more simple than if we had a ton of stuff that we had to go through. And it also made the move so much more easy. We were able to move with just a small car. Packing went so smoothly. And then when we were in our temporary place for 2 weeks, we of course didn't want to unpack all of our things. So I had my capsule wardrobe just packed into one bag. I was able to just pull from that and use that. I did have to kind of mix up my capsule wardrobe a little bit because we didn't end up having a washing machine in the place we were in. So I needed clothing for over 2 weeks, but I was able to do a little bit of laundry in between, but in general, it was so easy to just live out of our bags for that short time. And then we were able to just, again, grab our stuff and move it into the new place. Anyways, I'm really happy to be back to more of a normal schedule and able to film videos again. I hope you guys found this video interesting. It's definitely been a really good learning experience for me. I feel like I've spent so much time working on trying to live more mindfully and slower, so to all of a sudden be put in a situation where I just needed to very quickly and spend all of my time dealing with certain things was a really interesting experience. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you've ever had to or have any ideas about slowing down when you're put into a very fast-paced, hectic, chaotic situation. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely, slow day.